right, hello, my lovely, beautiful souls. I am very happy to be back today. I've been feeling a lot of shifts collectively in the energy, and me and a few of my people in my close circle, we've been experiencing kind of symptoms of this energy since midsummer, but now we're noticing in the spiritual community, and I've been seeing a lot that more and more people are starting to feel this change, this shift, this big upgrade happening energetically right now. And everybody's like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And I thought it might be really, really helpful to just hop on here and to be able to give some clarity. I've been working with my guides the last couple of days deep in meditation to be able to kind of figure out what exactly is happening here and why, more importantly, this energy shift is taking place. And, what exactly is going on with this upgrade happening right now. Now, I also thought it might be helpful not just to know what's going on, but also how best to work with the energy. So if future Elizabeth is smart enough, and I think she is, I will go ahead and drop these videos like the same day. And in fact, what I think I'll do is I'll post the video on how best to work with this energy in this video's description for you. That way you can kind of go straight there instead of rummaging through my channel trying to find the other pair to this one. So I think that'll be the quickest and easiest way to make this work best. But yeah, let's just kind of figure out, together and see what this energy shift is that's happening right now, why it's occurring, and then the second video will be how best to work with that energy. So what I'm gonna do— Hey guys, future Elizabeth coming in through here. So I just wanted to add that I will get into a couple of tidbits that spirit guides did share with me on some ways to cope with the energy, but we will be diving a lot further into specifics, less generalizations, and more specific ways of being able to work with this energy best in the following video. So I just wanted to clarify, you will hear a couple of suggestions that came through from them, but they're very high level, very generalized, and I wanted to make it more specific for us in terms of some specific clear messages and some guidance with that. Okay, all right, love you so much. Enjoy. So what I'm going to do is I have been downloaded with a lot of information already. So I'm going to kind of weave it amongst the reading here and do my best not to kind of overload us. But there, just to warn you ahead of time, there's a lot of information that they've been sharing with me. So just kind of have your thinking caps on. I guess I just heard thinking caps. They said have your thinking caps on and just be ready, if anything, maybe to jot down some bullet points on a notebook or in your phone, something to that effect. So we're going to hop right in. We're going to dive in. Be prepared to deep dive with me. We're in this together, and we'll go ahead and start with this oracle here for my Metatron deck to see what they've got for us. So, okay. So we have number 20, the cosmos mirrors you. And then we have that sacred geometry coming through there as well. Yeah, so a lot of ether energy with this. So first off, what they're kind of pulling me towards is giving you guys background, giving you context, right? So they're like, okay, start from the beginning, give everyone the big picture here. So what we've been experiencing is we had this first wave of awakening/ascensions that happened in the 60s and 70s. That was kind of with our good old indigo children that we'll talk about. You'll hear people say like, oh my gosh, you're such an indigo child or whatever. The indigo children were the hippies or the ones responsible for the flower power movement back in the 60s and the 70s, make love, not war, during the Vietnam War with John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And they were the ones responsible for that first wave of awakening, of consciousness growth that happened here in the States. And then there was a big rise in yoga that happened in the US around the 60s and 70s as well. So that was the first kind of big wave of consciousness evolution that happened. And then we saw in the 80s and the 90s, really through there was this new age era that started coming up with a lot of new music coming through that was really different from mainstream kind of pop media. And it was a lot of people doing more of like the retreats and more of like getting into the healing aspect of spirituality, like Reiki and crystals were being brought into that. And really that was kind of that big breakthrough moment for a lot of spiritual modern spiritual practices was through that New Age era movement. And then we saw kind of this third biggest wave happen in 2020 with COVID, right? And so that was the next kind of biggest rumbling that we saw in terms of awakenings and spiritual uncoverings that were happening during that time. And I'm going to come back to 2020 because there is a big piece, there's a big key that happened in 2020 that my spirit guides made sure that they wanted communicated, that is very helpful for us moving forward into these next new stages that we're experiencing. But we're going to come back to that. Put a pin in it, as my grandma would say. So then what we've been experiencing just now, like I said, some of you may have been experiencing this from early this year to the summer. That's, I know, when I started experiencing these symptoms from this current energy shift. And my guides are saying that this current cycle of energy transformation that we're in right now is going to happen well into 2023. So early to mid 2023 is when we're going to kind of experience the completion of this current energy cycle that we're in, this upgrade that we're experiencing. But hi friends, it's me again. Okay, I know I'm doing it again, but super quick because this is really, really important piece that I forgot to include and mention. But the idea is that we're going to start experiencing more frequent bursts of energy happening, shorter bursts of energetic upgrades happening over the coming years. And they may last, a few months, or they could last a year and a half to up to a couple of years. But the idea is that we're starting to see more and more of these short bursts of energetic upgrades happening more and frequently as we're coming along here into 2022 and moving on in the coming years. So what we're going to start to see happen with that are more awakenings, but also increased spiritual abilities, and those of us already awakened as well. But that's kind of what we're starting to see more and more, is that there is this progression of energetic upgrades happening on a more frequent basis. And they're meant to be that way. They're intended to be that way. And with that, very intense energies associated with those energetic upgrade bursts, right? So very intense energies and emotions as we're being integrated with these new light codes into our physical avatars and into this physical realm with Gaia. So I hope that clarifies a little bit more for you. Just wanted to hop on here really, really fast and say that. So back to your regularly scheduled programming and enjoy. But immediately what I'm seeing here that they're kind of adding on to the previous downloads that I was getting with mirrors you, I'm kind of seeing the image of this like pendulum. So you guys remember from the old school 90s offices where you would have the little, there were 4 or 5 little metal orbs or balls that were in a line, and they were held up by these lines of metal, and you would have one ball that would come up here and then it would do the affect the one at the other end. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like I'm not explaining that correctly, but if you saw a picture of what's in my mind, you'd be like, oh yeah, those things. But they were on every desk ever in the 90s and 2000s, and they were these metal balls, 4 or 5 of them, and they would just kind of affect each other and click back and forth. What they're showing me is that obviously we've been coming from this age, this Piscean age, very masculine, heavy based type of energy with that. And now we're moving into more of the Aquarian age. We're moving into this more feminine energy. And so we're experiencing a lot of extremes right now, I'm sure, as you can see, in many different areas of our 3D world, whether it's politics or weather or climate or just in terms of different groups of people kind of maybe feeling oppressed and speaking up about that finally, and having not finally, what I mean to say is that we've been having a lot more overdue exposure to issues that have been deeply embedded in our society and have been kind of swept under the rug, and they've been kind of thought of as the underbelly, the dark underbelly of society, but no one's ever really talked about them. But now we're starting to see those coming to light, well overdue, and we're all very excited about that. But we're seeing in many different ways areas across our society where, okay, we can't ignore this stuff anymore. We have to come to terms with this. And we're seeing it on a micro level, right? The Hermetic principle, as above, so below. So we're seeing it at a micro level within ourselves, especially through COVID. We were forced to stop our routines, our mindless routines. And we were almost like zombies, is what a good friend of mine kind of said lately. And I was like, that's perfect. I love that analogy. It's like, yes, we were mindlessly, as if we were zombies, going through our daily routines, not conscious of our choices and how they were affecting us. And with COVID and with 2020, on an individual level, what my guides were showing me is that in order to raise our consciousness, that all starts with being conscious of how we're structuring our lives, how we're living out our days, our day-to-day choices, and how those choices are affecting our spirits, how those choices are affecting our spirits. Because what I was noticing and what they were showing me is that we can escape, we can disassociate in order to cope. And I'm not judging, because I went through years of my lifetime where I did that. I just thought it was easier to check out, mentally check out, instead of dealing with the issues in front of me. And I would fill up my schedule with busyness, or I would do, a lot of coping in terms of like drinking at night, or, just different things where it's like I remember there was a time in my life where I would come home from work and I couldn't do anything else without pouring myself like a glass of wine. And I had to have at least 2 glasses of wine every single night. Got to a point where I started throwing the wine up because my body was literally rejecting how much alcohol I was pouring into my body. And it was like throwing it up, saying, you can't take this poison, right? But those are just different examples. And some of us will use video games or Netflix to kind of disassociate or check out, or eating is another big thing that I know that I used to do, is I used to just indulge a whole lot on food because I just didn't want to deal with any sort of emotional discomfort that I was feeling. But what's happening is that we can engage in all of these surface level coping strategies that in the long run are unhealthy, and it causes what we're doing is we're resting, we're sleeping, but sometimes what happens is we have an exhaustion at the soul level. And that was something that they gave me. They said it's an exhaustion at the soul level. And my guides were showing me that that's exactly the dance that many of us were involved in and are still involved in right now, is this exhaustion at the spirit, where we cannot fully rest. No matter how many hours of sleep we get, we wake up and we're still weighed down, we're still heavy. And that's because it's like we're not doing our due diligence by looking internally. And with shadow work, it doesn't have to be a dense, heavy thing. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. It can honestly be a thing. I said this in a reading recently, and they're telling me to restate it again for those of you who didn't hear the other reading where I said this. But our spirit guides are willing to help us in many, many areas of our lives, and we need to call on them more often than we do. And what they are telling me is that with looking inward and not using these coping mechanisms, a lot of us are like, okay, great. Well, then what are we left with? It's like this big, scary task of like doing all this heavy emotional work and heavy lifting spiritually and trying to figure out what the heck is going on inside of us. And it's like a monumental task. It feels like it's too much. It's too heavy, right? And so that's why we continue in this cycle of coping. But what they were showing me is, especially right now, lean on them, ask them to be able to help you alchemize this energy subconsciously while you're sleeping. Ask them to take this denser, heavier energy from you, so that you can go ahead and not be able to have this healing work be so heavy. That's the energy that I remember feeling, and I still feel that sometimes. And that's the energy collectively that I'm feeling right now as well. It's like, okay, what are we going to do? With COVID, what I was trying to say at the beginning was that on a smaller scale, individually, COVID caused us to stop what we were doing. We stop this mindless survival mode with coping mechanisms that aren't working, but we're continuing to do them anyway, because what else are we going to do, sort of a thing. And COVID forced us to be able to stop our busy routine. And we stopped commuting to work. Some of us were working from home, others of us were laid off. And we were kind of in this phase where we were taking more walks. We were doing more breath work or meditation or yoga, or we were outside, playing sports or, hanging out with our friends more, but doing it more as a mindful recharge, right, with our friends, instead of everyone being exhausted and giving each other leftovers at the end of our work days and hanging out. But it's like no one is giving their best, no one's showing up as their best selves, right? And so it's like no one is properly fed from that interaction, even amongst friends or family members, right? So, on a micro level, we saw that through COVID. On a global scale, we saw that as well, where businesses were shut down. We saw everything kind of come to a halt. And that was the universe's way of saying, hey, we need to take some time to actually stop what we're doing and reevaluate, pivot. Take time to figure out, okay, what's been going on, what's working, what's not working, how are we exhausting ourselves, and how can we be more mindful and allow ourselves to, moving forward, put things in place, structure our days strategically so that we don't end up invalidating ourselves. Yeah, it's like ignoring what our souls need the most, which is that deep soul level healing, that deep soul level comfort that can happen with the help of our spirit guides. Again, it's almost like a lot of us are feeling like, okay, if it's to be, it's up to me. I got to take the whole world on my shoulders. I got to take this heavy healing and put it on my back and, throw the whole team on my back, and we're getting across that finish line no matter what. It's like, no, that is the old paradigm. That's the 3D paradigm of the masculine energy, the Piscean age. What we're heading into right now is this 5D Aquarian age, feminine energy, where we can actually learn to collaborate not only with each other. Thank you. So something else that they're showing me is it's not so much competition. We were seeing, so the lack mentality of this 3D modern age is to do with competition, right? And it's the whole thinking of there's not enough. So I need to do whatever is necessary to be able to win, to be able to make sure I get what's mine. That's a lack mentality. That is survival mindset. That's not being conscious. That's not being aware of the reality. It's being able to see past the illusion, to recognize through abundance thinking, there is more than enough. There is always more than enough. Time is not running out. Time doesn't even exist. But even if in my limited perception here on earth, I think that it does exist because that's how this reality is structured, even if our earth is structured as having time existing, I can choose to stop and be present and recognize there is more than enough time. I am always in the right place. I am always exactly where I need to be. I am always doing exactly what needs to be done. It's being able to talk ourselves through those moments of panic, of pure terror that we will feel of, oh my God, time is running out. Oh my God, there's not enough. Oh my God, I'm not safe. Those are all old templates, old light codes, old paradigms, old ways of thinking, old ways of existing, and old ways of being that no longer have place here anymore. They don't belong here anymore because we're moving beyond that, right? And the whole point of ascension, something else they want me to pop in here real quick. The whole point of ascension, the bigger picture, is that ascension is us being able to have more and more light that we store within our body, right? It's being able to have a higher light quotient. So we store higher amounts of light within our body, light codes, some people will say. And what happens with that is, you all have heard the term, like, we only use, what is it, like 10% or something of our brain, or something really small like that. The whole point of ascension is that with us being able to carry more light within our physical avatars and our aura fields, right? Our mental body, our physical body, our spiritual, emotional body. Those are layers that are energetic layers that happen outside of our physical body avatars. What happens is, I lost my train of thought. I'm so busy trying to make sure everyone's tracking with me that I feel like, oh my gosh, okay. Because it's so much, you guys. It is so much that they were sharing with me. It's rich. It is rich information. Don't be afraid to play this video back more than once, because when they were giving it to me, I was like, hot dang, like that's a lot to communicate. But it needs to be said. And for those of us who want to understand what's happening and work best with the energy, it's necessary to know, to be able to connect those dots, is what they're telling me. So what I was saying, please bring that back to me. Oh, the whole point of ascension is we're able to hold more light in our bodies. And what that does is it allows us to be able to then use more parts of our brain, our neural pathways and the neurons inside of our brains and in our hearts, actually, because our heart is an intelligent organ as well, if not more so than the brain, because the heart informs the brain of every single activity that our body does. Did you know? Fun fact. So the heart is amazing. So the heart and the brain, actually, it allows those cells and those neural pathways and those electric pathways to be able to work more effectively. And so we can actually use more parts of our brain and more parts of our heart then, I guess. Those would be opened up so that we can think better, if that makes any sense at all. So that's kind of the whole point of ascension and what happens with ascension. Okay. Now, the other thing that they're telling me too is we're coming out of this energy of competition. And this is what I was saying before. We're entering into this space of collaboration. And that collaboration also means being able to collaborate with our spirit guides. Right? So to finish that point that I was making earlier, it's coming out of this masculine energy of I have to do everything myself. There's not enough. There's lack all around me. I have to do everything on my own, and everything is I'm out for me, sort of a thing, because everything is a competition because there's not enough resources. It's coming from that old mindset to this abundant mindset, this feminine mindset of there's more than enough. I am safe. I am okay. I'm exactly where I need to be every single moment. And it's collaborating with other people and our spirit guides in our healing work, especially. Our healing work is not meant to be all consciously done through our 3D avatars, okay? That's what they wanted me to communicate, especially. A lot of this healing work is meant to be with our spirit guides helping us carry that weight, carry that load, and that burden, so that they can help us subconsciously alchemize and transform a lot of those denser energies and emotions. And that way, it's not so much on our plates that we have to do. And it doesn't seem so scary and so overwhelming at that point, if we're able to allow our spirit guides to help us. Now, what we're happening also at a light level is we're coming out of the 6th ray consciousness. The 6th ray is all about devotion, up into the 7th ray, or the violet ray. Now, my channel is Violet Ray Goddess. The reason why I wanted to speak on the violet ray is that is the level of consciousness that we're headed towards collectively as a whole, as a society, as global civilizations. And what that means is it's us being able to tap in to Saint Germain. He is the ascended master associated with the violet light, the violet ray, and he does the violet flame, which is powerful transmutation process for energies. But it's being able to understand that we are powerful co-creators, taking back our power as manifestors in this universe, and understanding that we each have much more power than we think. Every thought, every emotion that we think is created somewhere else energetically in time and space. Did you know? So we are co-creators, and it's being able to embody this energy of the magician, the manifestor, the co-creator, and take back that personal power and sovereignty, so that we can learn to work with this energy better. Once we learn to embody this energy better, because remember, the whole point is not to come from this masculine energy and, all of a sudden we're supposed to be feminine-based energy only, like that's only what's allowed. No, the whole point is that we're, as a pendulum, swinging from one side to the other, trying to come back to the center. Masculine and feminine balanced energies. One cannot exist without the other. We cannot have healthy spiritual lives without having a healthy balance of the masculine and the feminine. What we're doing right now as a society, though, is we're reacquainting ourselves with the feminine energy and understanding that the feminine is not weak, it's not vulnerable, it's not bad, it's to be embraced. But once we have fully embodied and embraced the footprint, they're telling me the footprint of that energy, we then want to incorporate that masculine energy back with that feminine so that they can do a dance, a sacred dance. But the whole point of being able to flow with that new energy is we're going to be able to experience powerful manifestations. And what I mean by that is what they were showing me is my spirit guides were showing me that in the past, in the Piscean 3D age, we were very much like work, 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 toil, 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 work hours and hours and hours every single day to get this much pay, to get this much results, to have this much happening. Now we're stepping into the fifth dimension, this feminine based energy where it's all about doing this much work to get this much results. It's completely opposite from what used to be, right? Does that make sense? So what they're showing me is it's almost like as well, like we've been in this third world mentality, this survival mode, this third world way of thinking, where we have just kind of been surviving each and every day. Put one foot in front of the other. You can make it through this day. This day is going to be better than the last. That's sort of collectively that energy that we've been feeling. And so then we'll do unhealthy coping methods to help us feel better, right? But what's happening now is we're entering into this first world mentality, right? And this first world energy of abundance, of being able to know that this energy is to be worked with well, and it's to be danced with. The other thing is, if we release expectations, we release the resistance, okay? Expectations is really just us forming judgments of other people, of ourselves, of what's happening, of our circumstances. It's forming emotional attachments to those things instead of releasing judgment, releasing expectation, releasing attachment to be able to release that resistance that we feel, that stuck energy that we feel. That allows us to flow with the energy, and then we can properly dance with the energy and manifest quicker and faster and better, okay? I hope that makes sense. It's a lot, I know. But again, don't be afraid to play this video back more than once because they were giving me a ton of information. Oh, something else that that they were telling me too is that there's this need to be able to come out of this old paradigm of, in order to be spiritual, you need to have nothing, right? What we're coming into is this era and this energy of abundance to recognize that it's being attached to nothing, but welcoming those material rewards, right? Welcoming those beautiful relationships into our lives, welcoming that beautiful self-fulfillment, that inner peace into our lives without being attached to everything, but being able to welcome it at the same time. There is this old paradigm of like, oh, I'm gonna be a hippie in the woods and be super spiritual, and I'm just gonna have my van and nothing else, and right, and that kind of was the old way of thinking. It's like, okay, well, if you have material gain, if you have, all of these goods and blessings, it's a bad thing because that corrupts, right? That power corrupts. That's the old paradigm. That's the old way of thinking. Power does not corrupt. Okay, faulty thinking corrupts, okay? Unstable root chakras, unstable lower chakras corrupts because we have wounded inner children walking around in adult human bodies, making decisions, and it's a bad day. It's a bad day for everybody, right? Because those wounded inner children are not making smart decisions. And so what they're showing me is that we're coming into this abundant time where it's like, yes, you can be spiritually abundant and, physically abundant in your 3D world, have lots of rewards materially and relationally, without being consumed by it. It's like that old saying, you are a part of the world, but not of the world, okay? Not being attached to the negative aspects in the world, or being attached to, yeah, it's like not having your self-worth be attached to your actions, or your self-worth being attached to what you do for other people. You're not having your self-worth be attached to how much you can gain or how much you haven't gained, being a reflection of who you are as a person. Understanding that those things are all outside of us. And yes, they're to be welcomed. We can experience them, but we understand that we are separate from those circumstances, from those energies, those emotions. Does that make sense? Okay. And then also in terms of expression, it's not just being able to tolerate other people, but actually honoring the expression of other people as well. Okay. Alrighty. Beautiful. So, I think that's everything. Oh, and with the symptoms, some of you could be experiencing changes in vision. I know with me, I was experiencing seeing fractals where I would see zigzags, or I would see diamonds in my vision. Some others of you may be experiencing sensitivity to light, or just general eye problems where you go to the eye doctor and they're like, nope, nothing's wrong with you. Everything looks healthy and normal, but you're like, I don't know why my eyes are behaving weirdly. That is a symptom. Ringing of the ears is a symptom for sure. Well, maybe afterwards you might get downloads. They could be in one ear or in both ears where that's happening. Weird sleeping patterns in general. I know that I've been having an issue with not being able to fall asleep very, at a normal time, but I'm staying up later, or I might have days where I have a little bit of insomnia. Where I feel like I'll have to take a nap the following day, and that's been happening more than normal. And just like extreme emotions, extreme changes in emotions from day to day, where it's like one day I may feel really good, another day I may feel really heavy and bad and just like, what the heck is going on? Those are all normal signs, normal symptoms. I've been feeling also kind of like this stuffiness in my nose, and like this kind of these pricklies that I'm feeling in my throat as well. So that's been happening a lot lately too. And sometimes they'll happen for days or weeks at a time without getting worse or better. And then all of a sudden it's like, they'll go away. And it's like, I don't know what causes them or why they're there. But I know that it's definitely to do with this change in this energy happening right now. So yeah, different physical symptoms are definitely going on as well. And don't be afraid, don't be alarmed if you start experiencing some of those things. Because again, it's just our bodies kind of getting acclimated to, we're being rewired is what they've been showing me. We're being reprogrammed from the inside out. And that's going to cause a lot of changes because they're working on us from a cellular level, right? They're incorporating more light into our cells, into our organs, our tissues, our muscles, our bones. And that's going to cause a lot of physical symptoms as well as emotional symptoms. Okay. All right. So that's all normal. They wanted me to just kind of validate you guys there, because I feel like some of you, I'm getting this energy like you're feeling you've been dealing with a lot of these symptoms, but you're like, what's going on? This isn't normal. Or you're being hard on yourself. Be kind to yourself, my friends. Okay. This is definitely, a time to be caring for our physical bodies, our physical avatars, to be showing ourselves love, honoring the cycles that we feel. If we feel tired one day, that's okay. Maybe stay in bed for a little bit longer if it's the weekend, or, do what you can to be able to honor those rest cycles that you need. And then when you start feeling more energy, don't be afraid to get out there and play. Don't be afraid to let yourself kind of shine through and go on some hikes and do some, dancing, and go outside and just revel in the good energy that you're feeling. Honor each cycle that you're in, okay? So first thing that they're showing me is the 10 of Wands here. Yeah, a lot of heavy energy that's being kind of expelled is what I just heard. And the other thing too that they are showing me is it's almost like what's happening is it's like when you have a wound, and let's say that it's a wound of, 4 of Pentacles. Yeah. it's almost like when you have a wound and it's this big burn, and let's say maybe it's kind of like open in some areas and it's kind of like oozing. I don't want to get too graphic. Some of you I feel like are like, ew. Um, but yeah, it's like when you don't touch it, then soon enough it throbs a little bit, and then it's like this dull aching pain, but the pain goes it goes away enough for the most part. But then what happens is, then as soon as you have someone that starts pouring water on it, starts cleaning the wound out, then all of a sudden it's like, ow, shoot, that hurts so much. And I feel like that is also part of what these energetic bursts are. It's little bouts of being able to clean us out, clean out the old wounds. And I know in some traditions, like Native American traditions and some Eastern cultures, when you have a snake bite, the idea is that you will suck the poison out, right? And so that's essentially what's happening now, is we are pulling that poison out from inside of us to the surface, and we're seeing it on an individual level, but as a society, we're seeing it reflected as well on the outer, right? With that same energetic principle as within, so without happening. And it's because we're pulling all of that nasty, deep, dense, old patterns, old ways of thinking, old energy out from us and getting rid of it once and for all, okay? So that's just something else that they wanted me to share there too. But yeah, with the 10 of the Wands, I don't know why I said it like that. With the 10 of Wands and the 4 of Pentacles, it's like this heavy energy, this like mine energy, this survival mentality of like, I have to hold on to what's mine or else I'm going to be without. That's kind of the energy that we're getting away from. Yeah, and then we're stepping, here we go, Empress. Hello, we're stepping into this Empress energy, this divine feminine energy. Yeah, 5 of Swords. Yeah, laying down our swords is what I just heard. Lay down your swords. Lay down your swords, friend, okay? You don't need to be fighting with anybody else, and especially yourselves. Do not resist yourself. Do not resist what's happening, okay? Don't be hard on yourself. Be able to have grace with yourself and understand and honor the space that you're at. Allow this divine feminine healing energy to come through and to work with you. I'm hearing Mother Mary may want to work with quite a few of you right now, just to give you that kind of comforting energy that you need. Also, Our Lady of Guadalupe, I'm hearing, is wanting to come in and help as well. Yeah, definitely something that I'm hearing there too. Yeah, Knight of Swords. Yeah, it's like we're charging forward into this new dawn, this new era. And we need to be able to have grace with ourselves as we move in. I'm going to pull one more card. Pull one more card here. Ooh, almost. So funny. They play with me sometimes. They're like, are we going to do it now? I don't know. Yeah, what did I say? Can't make this stuff up, you guys. 6 of Swords. We're coming from these shaky waters, this really unbalanced energy, into this beautiful, calm, serene, beautiful energy. We're headed for the shore. There's a song called Till We See the Shore, and I think it's by Seabird is the name of the artist. Oh my gosh. I haven't heard that song in forever. Sing till your heart hurts, and then sing some more. Don't stop singing till we see the shore. Sing it loud and clear. I promise you, the whole world will hear you sing. Yeah, till we see the shore. That's coming through. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm actually going, I don't want this to go too terribly long, so I am actually going to pull, thank you. Oh no, too many cards. I'm going to pull these cards kind of all at once. Give ourselves this bigger picture, and then I'll finish up the reading here for us. Okay. Collective energy shift happening right now, please. Oh, almost. There we go. We got one. And this was actually in reverse. Angel of Strength in reverse. I'll show it to you right side up. Oh, I got another one. Yeah, and then we have happy family in reverse, number 4. And then back of the, sorry if you hear that creaking, it's just my incredibly loud chair. And then we have 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel coming in. Yeah, it's so funny. We have a lot of throat chakra work coming in here. And I've been guided to do a throat chakra unblocking reading to be able to figure out how the throat chakra is affecting you and what you can do to help work with it best. And for many of you, unblock it, because I've been feeling a ton of blockage in terms of not being able to speak our truth, not feeling like we can be our authentic selves, feeling afraid of stepping out into the unknown or showing ourselves for who we truly are. That's been a ton of energy that I've been feeling lately in the collective that's been directly correlated to this energy shift that I've been feeling lately. So I think I'm going to do a reading on that quite soon for us, my friends. That's for sure coming through as a confirmation there from Archangel Gabriel on that. So, spirit guides, can you please tell us more about this collective energy shift happening at this time? Yeah, and I'm hearing with this happy family in reverse as well. Some of you may be feeling like you're just very irritable right now, or you're not able to relate to other people, especially family members or friends, as well as you have in the past. And you're just feeling a lot of like bickering, a lot of fighting, a lot of like imbalanced emotions. It seems like a lot of just extremes that you're experiencing in your relationships right now, and with yourself too. But I'm hearing that, again, that's normal. That is okay for you to feel that way. And then there's a lot of exhaustion happening here too. With the Angel of Strength being in reverse, it's like we feel burdened, we feel exhausted, we feel put upon by this energy that we're feeling right now. And it's like too much for us to deal with. And again, that is normal, but call in your spirit guides, ask them to help you work through the shadow work with you. Ask them to show you whatever you're not seeing, what you're missing, and ask them to heal the parts of you that you're unable or that you cannot heal right now within yourself because it's too draining, it's too exhausting, it's too scary, or you may not even know what that is. Ask your spirit guides. They're wanting to come in and help all of you with this right now, okay? Then we have right over here, learn from karma. Yeah, it's almost like this karmic loop is being finished up. This karmic cycle is being finished. And that's kind of what I was getting as well. It's like this integration period. It's being able to drop your swords right here with the 5 of Swords. But also charging forward into this new paradigm, this new way of living, this new way of being. And it's finishing up this old cycle, this old loop of karma that we've been in previously, so that we can lay it to rest once and for all, is what I just heard. It's like not dredging up things from the past, not holding ourselves hostage for past decisions that we've made, not making ourselves feel less than or feeling bad about past mistakes that we've made, but allowing those lessons to be properly learned. But then, okay, we're done with this energy now. Let's lay it to rest. Let's stop dredging this up. And that closing out those cycles, closing out those karmic cycles as well, from the past, as well as this current karmic cycle that you're in. And those are just lessons learned. It's going to be different for each and every one of you, so take that how it resonates. But you're finishing up a big, powerful karmic cycle where you're closing that loop for this current stage that you're in. You're coming to the end of a big realization, a big lesson, stepping into your power, or learning to let things go, learning boundaries, learning not to be codependent, learning how to express anger in a healthy way, learning righteous anger versus denser anger, being assertive, collaborating versus being competitive is what I just heard too. That's what my spirit guides were sharing with me a couple days ago too in my meditation. Again, I'm just getting tons of energy here. So for each and every one of you, those karmic lessons are going to be different, but you're coming to a realization with one of those cycles and you're coming to a close. And then we also have listen to your guardian angel coming through here as well. Yeah. your angels are coming through to want to work with you and take this burden off of you right now at this time. They're coming in to give you peace, to give you healing, to give you grace. And Mother Mary wants to work with your angels as well. I see Mother Mary here especially, and they're showing me Mother Mary in this depiction. So learn to work with Mother Mary and your angels, and ask your spirit guides along with them for help on your spiritual journey. And then, yeah, along here, I also see this like feminine and masculine playing out as well. I see the masculine here with the sun energy and the feminine moon energy coming through here. And that is just beautiful. I love it. I love that. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have take positive action here. Yeah, so again, honoring the cycles that you're in. If you're in more of an energetic cycle, feel free to play, roam, explore, let yourself kind of see, what there is to have experienced, see what adventure there is to do. And if you're feeling more drained or exhausted, allow yourself to rest. Do not resist it, because it's only going to prolong whatever cycle you're in if you resist it. Or in the case of, take that how it resonates. But I'm just saying I'm hearing it's going to prolong whatever cycle you're in if you resist it. Where it's like, until you learn that lesson and you honor that energy and embody what that energy cue is giving to you, it's going to keep showing up and be like, okay, come on, let's do this. Let's either stop, or come on, let's go out and let's play. Let's have an adventure. Right. So either way, take that how it resonates for you. All right. And then we're going to do maybe just one. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Okay. I was actually hearing right side up for this one. And then, okay. Right side up for both. Okay, got it. So we have number 52, Elemental Embrace. Interesting. Okay, so cat's out of the bag. They want me to share. I'm working on this video series called Soul Alchemy. I feel like I've been in a space where I haven't really been honoring what the soul of my channel was intended to be. And my spirit guides were showing me that I was kind of veering off my path. And they were like, this isn't really the content that we wanted you to do initially. And you're losing sight of what your purpose is here to do for the collective. So I was like, okay, it was a very humbling moment for me, but I'm getting back to the roots and to the soul of what I originally created this channel to be about, which is all about different information. I'm not going to get into it, but it's all about the ascended masters and the rays of light and consciousness with that, and different kinds of messages, giving more representation to those kinds of messages that really our spiritual community, I think, needs at this time. But Elemental Embrace, I'm doing a Soul Alchemy series, and it's going to have each element spotlighted in each video, and I'm kind of in the finishing stages of brainstorming that right now. And then I'm going to start taping today and tomorrow and throughout the weekend, and be able to get those to you guys either next week or the week after, depending on how much those readings take out of me. But we're going to learn how to work with the elements, and we're going to uncover some lost knowledge and some lost wisdom that, these spirits really want us to be able to use as we head into this seventh ray, this violet ray consciousness of recognizing ourselves as powerful manifestors, co-creators, magicians. Okay, so that's definitely something that is being highlighted here. And just know that working with the elements is going to help you a lot right now in terms of healing, but I will come out with a whole video series on working with the elements and that energy on down the road. Okay, then we have number 47, Fruit of Life, happening there as well. Beautiful. Yeah, so I'm seeing, and especially this Knight of Pentacles happening here, and then the Six of Swords. We're like headed into such an abundant time period, and it's going to happen for each of us individually. That's how it starts. Once each of us individually are able to make this transition, we'll start seeing it on a greater scale, on a collective level. Exactly. The cosmos are going to mirror us. We mirror each other as a society. And what happens is we're coming from this extreme energy, right? So coming from this extreme energy one way, another way, coming back towards the center. so that we have a good balance of each of the masculine and the feminine energies happening here. And then we're going to start seeing a lot more harmony on a global level once we have worked through our own stuff individually. It's a process, but it's worth it, okay? That's what they just told me. It's a process, but it's worth it. And then we have the fruit of life here as well. So you guys may want to meditate on the fruit of life, sacred geometry. That is a beautiful, abundant energy to tap into. And it's going to be able to, again, you're giving yourselves light codes on a cellular level. Your brain is taking in that energy, and that energy is being embedded into your cells, your muscles, your tissue. And then that energy, your spirit guides can then work with the energy that you intake. That's why your input matters so much, my friends. What you intake matters, because that energy is what your spirit guides will use to be able to help you. Okay. But if you're not it's like your food. If you're taking in only crap, is what I just heard. I don't know whose spirit guide just said that, but someone's spirit guide just said, if you're taking in crap all the time, you're going to be crap. You're not going to be crap, but you're going to feel like crap. I want to reframe that. Yeah. You're going to feel like crap. Right. So the whole idea is to be able to be aware of what we're taking in, right? Whether that's music, food, movies, shows. That all matters, because that energy is being absorbed into our cells. And that's the energy, whatever energy that is, good or bad, that's all the energy that our spirit guides can kind of use to help work with us. Okay. At this time, right? And even if it's just a little bit that you do of this meditating, or, maybe choosing one meal a day that you eat healthy, that little seed of health, of goodness, if you will, they can use that and they can magnify that and expand that. So I don't want to make it sound like you have to be like vegan, you can't have any, type of like refined sugar. You have to meditate all the time, no TV shows, no bad music, whatever. It's like, no. I'm not saying that. That's like unrealistic. But being able to just kind of have more of a balance is what they're showing and what they're spotlighting here as well. Okay. I wanted to clarify that, because I was like, wait a second, that doesn't feel right within my spirit to say that. Yeah. And then at the back of the deck here, we have number 46, the lesson. We're coming out of learning a powerful karmic cycle of lessons. And through 2023, we're going to be closing out that cycle, closing out that current loop. And then we're going to experience that finishing of that karmic loop, that karmic cycle, which is beautiful, because then once we've learned those karmic lessons, we'll start to feel our energy lighten and shift in the best way, right? Once we've kind of worked through all of that energy. So again, my friends, use your spirit guides to help you. We're in this together. There's a lot happening right now. So be kind to yourselves. Okay. Be kind to yourself. And I love you so much. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And to see more readings like this, I love you very, very much, as I said before, and I will see you in the next video.